Zilara stepped out of the transport vessel, her tall, slender form drawing curious glances from the humans gathered at the lunar docking bay. Her blue skin shimmered under the artificial lights. 4 luminescent tendrils framing her face pulsed with a gentle glow that betrayed her excitement despite her composed expression. As the official representative of the Vosari High Council, Zilara had been preparing for this moment for many cycles. She was the first of her kind to participate in the cultural exchange program with humans, a species the Vosari had encountered just 3 cycles ago. A human female approached her. The woman wore the blue uniform of Earth Space Academy with gold insignia on her shoulders, indicating her senior rank. "Welcome to Lunar Colony 1, the woman said with a smile. "My name is Lily Mason. I will be your guide during your stay here." Zilara tilted her head in the traditional Vosari greeting. "I am Zilara Ven, Education Specialist, 3rd rank. My people appreciate this opportunity for understanding." The Vosari were known across 3 star systems for their logical approach to existence. Their society had eliminated conflict centuries ago through careful application of reason and communal purpose. But when they encountered humans, everything changed. Humans were puzzling creatures capable of both remarkable kindness and startling violence. Their emotions drove them in ways the Vosari struggled to comprehend. Lily led Zilara through the curved corridors of the lunar base, pointing out facilities and introducing her to curious colonists. The dome city stretched beneath the lunar surface with transparent sections that revealed Earth hanging like a blue jewel in the darkness. "Your assignment here is quite unique," Lily said as they entered the residential section. "You requested to study human emotions, specifically how we process and utilize fear. Is that correct?" "Yes," Zilara replied, her voice musical and soft. "Our preliminary studies of human culture suggest that fear plays a significant role in your species' development, yet sometimes in ways that seem contradictory. You flee from danger as expected of any sentient species, yet you also seek activities that generate this same fear response. Our scientists find this paradox worthy of investigation." Lily laughed, a sound that made Zilara's tendrils pulse with curiosity. "I never thought about it that way," she admitted. "But yes, we do have a complicated relationship with fear." They reached Zilara's assigned quarters, a comfortable room with a viewport facing Earth. The space had been modified to accommodate Vosari preferences, with elevated humidity and slightly lower oxygen levels than humans typically preferred. Lily helped her settle in, explaining, "The environmental controls and communication systems. Tomorrow we'll begin your orientation," she explained. "But tonight there's a welcome reception in the main atrium. The colony director wants to formally introduce you to the staff." Zilara felt a strange sensation at this news, a tightness in her chest that she didn't recognize. "Is attendance required?" she asked. "Not required, but recommended," Lily replied, studying her with interest. "Are you experiencing apprehension about meeting many humans at once?" Zilara considered the question with typical Vosari thoroughness. "I am unfamiliar with the proper protocols for such gatherings," she admitted. "Our social events are highly structured, each interaction planned for maximum efficiency." Lily smiled. "That's exactly why this exchange is valuable for both our species. We can learn from each other. I promise to stay beside you and guide you through any confusing moments." The reception was held in the largest space of the lunar colony, a vast atrium with a completely transparent ceiling that showcased the star-filled sky above, humans gathered in small clusters, their voices creating a constant background hum that Zilara found mildly disorienting. The colony director, Maya Bennett, approached them immediately. Her dark skin contrasted with her silver uniform, and her smile appeared genuine to Zilara. "Careful observation. Education Specialist Zilara," the director said, extending her hand in the human greeting gesture. "We are honored by your presence here. The alliance between our peoples is still new, but full of promise." Zilara had studied human customs extensively before her arrival. She took the director's hand, carefully mimicking the gentle pressure humans applied in their handshake ritual. "The honor is mutual, Director Bennett. My council believes that understanding between our species will benefit both civilizations." As the evening progressed, Zilara observed human social patterns with fascination. They moved between conversation groups with Apparent randomness, yet she began to detect subtle patterns in their interactions. Certain humans dominated conversations, while others listened more than they spoke. Some displayed physical contact, touching arms or shoulders during discussions, a behavior Vosari found unnecessary. A human female approached them. Her uniform identified her as security personnel, her posture straight and alert. Ellen Barnes, Chief of Security. She introduced herself, her expression serious compared to most others. Silara had met. I understand you're studying human fear responses, yes. Silara confirmed. The concept is underdeveloped in my culture. Ellen nodded thoughtfully. You picked an interesting time to study fear. She said, her voice lowered. There have been concerning incidents recently. Nothing officially alarming, but unusual equipment failures near the outer sectors. Lily frowned at this information. I hadn't heard about any problems. Just being cautious, Ellen replied with a slight shrug. Probably nothing but worth keeping an eye on. She nodded respectfully to Zilara before moving to another group. The exchange puzzled Zilara. Is this human attempting to generate fear? She asked Lily when Ellen had moved away. Lily considered the question. No, she admitted. Ellen takes her job seriously. If she's concerned about something, it's genuine, but mentioning it here at a social gathering is unusual. Shilara filed this observation away for further study. The complexity of human communication continued to fascinate her. They often conveyed information indirectly through subtle cues and contextual hints. The reception continued. Shilara noticed a small human female standing alone near the viewpoint. The girl appeared younger than most colonists, perhaps 12 Earth years by Zilara's estimation. Her expression as she stared at Earth suggested emotional distress. The child appears upset. Zilara noted to Lily. Is this common? Lily followed her gaze. That's Amber Wilson's daughter, Zoe. She arrived last month to join her. Mother. The transition has been difficult for her. Moving from Earth to the lunar colony is a big adjustment, especially for children. Without conscious decision, Zilara found herself moving toward the girl. Lily following with interest. Greetings, young. Human. Zilara said, her tendrils glowing with a soft blue light that typically soothed Vosari children. The girl Zoe looked up, her eyes widening at the sight of Zilara. You must be the alien visitor, she said bluntly. I am Zilara, of the Vosari Zilara. Confirmed. And you are Zoe Wilson, first cycle lunar resident. A small smile formed on Zoe's face. I miss Earth, she admitted, looking back at the blue planet. She pointed to a location. I lived there with my father in that region. My mother has been stationed here for 3 years, and now I have to live here too. Shilara tilted her head. The separation distresses you. Zoe nodded. I was scared to come here, she admitted. And now I'm scared. I'll never feel at home. Fear of change. Shilara noted. This is common among your species. Zoe looked at her with surprise. Don't your people get scared of new places? Shilara considered the question. The Vosari experience caution when facing unknowns, but we process it differently. We see new environments as puzzles to solve rather than threats to avoid. Zoe seemed to consider this. Is that better? Not better, Zilara replied. Simply different. Your fear has value. It helps you recognize the importance of what you left behind, the connections that matter to you. Lily watched this exchange with evident fascination. Her expression suggested she had not expected such insight from Zilara. Later, as they left the reception, Lily commented, You handled that conversation with Zoe remarkably well. For someone studying fear, you seem to understand it already. Shilara shook her head gently. My understanding remains theoretical. My people experience emotions differently than humans, more as gentle ripples than crashing waves. I seek to understand the transformative potential of fear, how it shapes human development and decision-making. Lily nodded. Tomorrow. Well, begin your formal education, she promised. But I think you'll find that your greatest insights won't come from structured lessons. They will come from experiences just like tonight. Shilara considered this as they walked through the quiet corridors. Perhaps there was wisdom in the human's approach to knowledge acquisition through direct experience rather than pure theory. The thought both intrigued and unsettled her, marking the beginning of a journey that would change her understanding of both humans and her own species in ways she could not yet imagine. Morning came to the lunar colony, with the artificial lighting gradually increasing to simulate dawn. Zilara had spent the quiet hours reviewing her observations from the reception. The human interactions continued to puzzle her, particularly their tendency to form emotional connections so quickly. Lily arrived at her quarters precisely at the scheduled time. Her uniform today was less formal. A simple blue jumpsuit with the Earth Space Academy insignia. "Are you ready for your first official day of cultural exchange?" she asked, her smile warm and welcoming. Zilara nodded, her tendrils glowing with a soft blue light. "I have prepared a list of questions about human fear responses, if that is acceptable." Lily laughed. "I thought we might take a more direct approach, actually experiencing rather than just discussing." This suggestion caused Zilara's tendrils to pulse with surprise. Experience fear directly. That seems inefficient and potentially unpleasant. "Exactly," Lily said, leading her through the corridor. "That's what makes it valuable. The Vosari approach would be to study fear academically, but humans learn best through experience. So I arranged something special." They entered a large chamber that Zilara had not seen during her initial tour. The space was divided into sections with strange equipment and simulated environments. A sign identified it as the recreation and training facility. Several humans moved through the space, some engaged in physical activities that appeared to have no practical purpose. Others were gathered around a large wall with artificial protrusions. Lily led Zilara toward this group. "This is our climbing wall," she explained. "Humans use it for exercise, but also for recreational challenge," Zilara observed, as a human female scaled the wall, her muscles straining with effort. Her biosensors detected elevated heart rate, increased respiration, and hormonal changes in the climber, all indicators of stress response. "The woman is experiencing fear," Zilara noted, "yet she chose this activity voluntarily. This is the paradox my research seeks to understand." Lily nodded. "Climbing is a perfect example of what we call controlled fear. The danger is minimal because of safety equipment, but the body still responds, as if there is real risk. The climber experiences the physiological fear response but knows rationally that she is safe." "Would you like to try?" Lily asked, gesturing toward the wall. Zilara hesitated. The Vosari physiology was different from humans. Her four-limbed form was taller, more slender, with significantly less muscle mass. Her species evolved on a low-gravity planet with dense atmosphere, making her naturally stronger than she appeared in lunar conditions, but still unaccustomed to such physical challenges. "I am not certain my form is suited to this activity," she began, but Lily was already guiding her toward the equipment area. "This is why I chose climbing as our first experience. Your physiology actually gives you advantages. Your limbs are longer, giving you greater reach, and the lunar gravity makes the activity easier than on Earth." A human instructor approached, introducing herself as Dana Kelly. She helped fit Zilara with a harness and explained the basic techniques. The safety equipment would prevent any actual danger, but Zilara's body might still respond with fear signals. The rock wall looked impossibly vertical to Zilara as she stood before it. She placed her slender blue hands on the first holds and began to ascend, following Dana's instructions. As she climbed higher, her body began to register unusual sensations. A tightness in her chest, increased heart rate, a strange tingling in her limbs. "Is this fear?" she asked Lily, who climbed alongside her. Lily smiled. "Looks like it. Your skin is shifting to a deeper blue. That probably means your body is triggering your species' equivalent of our fight or flight response." "How does it feel?" Zilara paused, analyzing the sensations. "Unpleasant, yet somehow stimulating. My focus has narrowed. I am more aware of each movement, each decision." "Is this how humans always experience fear? Only in controlled situations?" Lily explained. "When fear is overwhelming, it can paralyze instead of enhance. When we choose the fear and know we are ultimately safe, it can be exhilarating." They continued climbing until they reached the top. Zilara found herself experiencing an unexpected sensation when they achieved their goal. a pleasurable wave that her people rarely felt. Achievement. Satisfaction, Lily identified when Zilara described it. Sometimes the best rewards come after the greatest challenges. Later that day, Lily brought Zilara to a different facility, a small theater where several colonists gathered for what they called movie night. This is another way humans interact with fear, Lily explained as they took seats. Stories that deliberately trigger fear responses in safe environments. The film depicted humans exploring an abandoned space station where unknown dangers lurked. Zilara watched with fascination as the humans around her responded physically to the narrative. Their bodies tensed during moments of suspense. Several gasped aloud when threats appeared suddenly. They know this is fiction, not reality, Zilara whispered to Lily. Yet their bodies respond as if the danger is real. Lily nodded. It's called suspension of disbelief. Part of human consciousness allows us to immerse in fictional experiences almost as deeply as real ones. After the film ended, they walked toward the educational sector where Zilara was scheduled to observe a class of young humans. Lily used the time to explain more about human emotional complexity. Fear isn't isolated, she explained. It connects to other emotions. Courage exists because fear exists. They are two sides of the same experience. This seemed significant to Zilara Vosari. Philosophy taught that emotions were distractions to overcome rather than tools to utilize. The human perspective suggested something different, that emotions could enhance rather than hinder rational thought under certain circumstances. The classroom was filled with human children ranging from 8 to 10 Earth years. Their teacher, Kelly Morrison, had invited Zilara to observe their emergency preparedness training. Today, these young ones will practice responding to a simulated crisis, Kelly explained. This teaches them to function effectively. Despite fear, Zilara watched as the lights suddenly dimmed and alarm sounds filled the room. The children quickly organized themselves, moving to designated positions with remarkable efficiency, considering their age. A simulated voice announced an oxygen system failure, and the children donned emergency breathing masks, helping each other with practiced movements. The efficiency is impressive, Zilara noted even as her own tendrils pulsed with the unfamiliar sensation of anxiety in response to the alarms. They practice regularly, Kelly explained. When the real emergency comes, their bodies will still feel fear, but their training will override the paralysis that fear might otherwise cause. One child, a small female with dark hair, seemed to hesitate during the drill. Her breathing became rapid, her movements uncoordinated. Kelly moved immediately to her side, speaking softly until the child calmed. Some feel fear more intensely, Kelly explained later. Some less. Everyone has different thresholds. The key is not eliminating fear, but working with it. That evening, Zilara recorded her observations in her quarters. The concepts she was encountering challenged fundamental Vosari beliefs about emotional responses. For centuries, her people had pursued the suppression of emotions, seeking pure logic. But humans suggested another path, integration rather than suppression. Her research was interrupted by an incoming communication. The face of Director Bennett appeared on her screen. Education specialist, Zilara. The director began, her expression serious. I apologize for disturbing your evening, but we have a situation that might interest you. The colony will be conducting an emergency response drill tomorrow, one that simulates actual crisis conditions. Chief Barnes suggested your research might benefit from observing how humans respond to simulated danger on a larger scale. Zilara felt that now familiar tightness in her chest, the sensation she was beginning to identify as anticipatory fear. That would be most informative, she agreed. The director nodded. You will observe from our command center where you can monitor the full colony response. The drill involves a simulated breach in the outer dome with corresponding emergency protocols. After the communication ended, Zilara sat quietly processing this new development. Controlled exposure to fear experiences was proving more educational than she had anticipated. Each new situation revealed another facet of human emotional complexity. A gentle chime at her door interrupted her thoughts. Lily stood outside holding what appeared to be data tablets. I heard about tomorrow's drill, she said. I brought some historical records of past human emergency responses for context, some from Earth disasters, others from early space colonization. Shilara welcomed her inside, accepting the tablets with interest. My understanding of human fear response is evolving, she admitted. Yet much remains puzzling to me. You treat emotions as tools rather than obstacles. This contradicts Vosari teaching. Lily settled into a chair, her expression thoughtful. Perhaps both perspectives have value, she suggested. Your people's emotional control gives you stability, harmony. Our emotional integration gives us adaptability, creativity. The question isn't which approach is correct, but how each serves. Its species. Yilara considered this a possibility she had not previously entertained. Could the Vosari and human approaches to existence complement, rather than contradict each other? The implication was significant, suggesting that the alliance between their species might offer more than mere practical benefits. The command center hummed with activity as Zilara took her position beside Director Bennett. The large circular room served as the operational heart of the lunar colony, with monitoring stations arranged in concentric rings around a central holographic display. Currently, the display showed a detailed three-dimensional image of the entire colony structure. Today you will observe how humans manage fear at organizational scale, the director explained. Officers have been briefed on the drill parameters, but general colony personnel have not. This creates a more authentic response. Shilara nodded, her tendrils pulsing with subtle blue light. The approach is logical. Awareness of simulation would alter behavioral patterns. Ellen Barnes entered the command center, her uniform crisp, her expression focused. She nodded to Zilara before addressing the director. All systems are prepared. The scenario involves a micrometeorite impact on Dome Section E with resulting pressure loss and environmental system damage. We begin in 15 minutes. The atmosphere in the command center shifted subtly as the officers prepared for the drill. Their movements became more precise, communications more efficient. Zilara detected increased heart rates and stress hormones, but also improved focus among the humans. A fascinating contradiction. Director Bennett turned to Zilara. This drill simulates one of our greatest fears, she explained. Breach of colony integrity represents an existential threat, but we train extensively for such scenarios. The central display shifted, showing a timer counting down to drill initiation. Zilara observed the final preparations with intense interest. Her research had suggested that humans performed differently under pressure. Now she would witness this phenomenon directly. The countdown reached 0A. Simulated alarm blared throughout the colony. The holographic display flashed red, highlighting Dome Section E, where the imaginary impact had occurred. Immediately, the command center burst into coordinated activity. Damage assessment teams deployed to the affected area. Emergency bulkheads activated, isolating the compromised section. Environmental systems diverted resources to maintain livable conditions throughout unaffected areas. Zilara watched in fascination as the humans responded. Their bodies showed all signs of fear response, yet their actions remained decisive, efficient. The contradiction supported Lily's explanation that humans could function effectively despite fear, even channel it toward enhanced performance. Director Bennett maintained remarkable composure, issuing commands with calm authority. Ellen coordinated security teams, ensuring orderly evacuation from affected areas. The entire operation proceeded with precision that impressed even Zilara's Vosari sensibilities. Then something unexpected happened. A secondary alarm sounded, this one different from the simulated emergency alert. Ellen moved quickly to a monitoring station, her expression shifting from controlled, focused to genuine concern. Director, we have an actual situation, she reported. Her voice remained steady, but Zilara detected elevated stress markers. This isn't part of the drill. Environmental systems in residential Block C are showing critical failure. Real oxygen levels dropping. The director turned sharply. All officers, this is no longer a drill, she announced. Priority shift to residential Block C. Confirm status. The holographic display changed, showing a different section of the colony, now flashing, with actual warning indicators. Not the simulated breach in Dome Section E, but a genuine malfunction in the residential area. Zilara felt a strange sensation spreading through her body. A tightness in her chest, increased heart rate, heightened sensory awareness. Her tendrils darkened their glow, dimming with what her people would recognize as concern. Ellen studied the incoming data. Oxygen recyclers failing in sequence, she reported. Environmental safeguards not responding. This pattern is consistent with deliberate sabotage. The word created immediate tension in the command center. Sabotage implied intentional harm, a concept that disturbed both humans and Vosari alike. Director Bennett made an immediate decision. Initiate full evacuation of residential. Block C, she ordered. Activate emergency oxygen reserves. Alert medical teams for potential hypoxia cases. She turned to Ellen. Find out what caused this. Now Zilara observed the shift in human behavior. The controlled response to a drill had transformed into something more intense, more focused. The fear she detected was deeper yet. The humans performed with even greater efficiency. This was fear, serving purpose, directing attention, enhancing performance, exactly as her research suggested. Ellen approached. Zilara, your species can tolerate lower oxygen levels than ours, correct? She asked. Zilara nodded affirmative. Vosari evolved in a low-oxygen environment. Our respiratory system is more efficient. Ellen exchanged glances with the director, then turned back to Zilara. Would you be willing to assist our investigation team? Your ability to function in low-oxygen conditions could prove valuable. Zilara considered the request. This situation presented an opportunity to observe human crisis response, firsthand to potentially contribute to colony safety. Her mission was academic, but the alliance between their species suggested broader responsibilities. I will assist. She agreed. Lily appeared at the command center doorway, her expression concerned. She had been monitoring the drill from another location, but the actual emergency had drawn her to Central Command. When she saw Zilara preparing to depart with the investigation team, she approached quickly. You don't have to do this, she told Zilara. This isn't part of your research assignment. Zilara tilted her head, her tendrils pulsing with gentle light. I observe that humans often accept risk to assist others. My understanding of your species would remain incomplete if I observed this principle without participating in it. Lily seemed about to object, then nodded instead. Be careful, she said simply. Ellen led a small team, including Zilara, toward residential Block C. The corridors were filled with evacuees moving in the opposite direction. Humans, wearing emergency breathing masks, escorted by security personnel. Zilara noted the orderly nature of the evacuation, despite the clear signs of fear. They reached the environmental control junction for the residential section. The space was designed to house the complex machinery that maintained breathable atmosphere throughout the habitat. As they entered Zilara's, sensors detected the significantly reduced oxygen levels. The human team members donned complete breathing apparatus, while Zilara required only a small supplemental oxygen device. The environmental system showed clear signs of tampering. Ellen examined the control panels, her expression grim behind her breathing mask. The sabotage is sophisticated, she noted. Multiple fail-safes, bypass security protocols overridden. This required intimate knowledge of colony systems. One of the human technicians called them to a secondary control panel. Several components had been physically modified with unfamiliar technology attached to the colony systems. Ellen studied the devices. I've never seen technology like this, she admitted. It's not human design, nor Vosari. Zilara confirmed, examining the components. Their function appears to be system override, creating cascade failures in oxygen generation. The implication was clear. The sabotage originated from neither human nor Vosari technology. A third party had interfered with colony systems. Ellen activated her communication link. Director, we have confirmed external sabotage. She reported unknown technology. We need to check all environmental systems immediately. As she spoke, the lights flickered throughout the section. The remaining systems began to shut down, one after another. Ellen checked her monitoring device. We're losing power to this entire section. She reported backup systems not engaging. The human team members exchanged concerned glances. Their fear response intensified. Zilara could detect the surge in stress hormones even through their protective gear. Yet they maintained functional behavior, checking systems, identifying problems, seeking solutions. One technician, a woman named Susan Porter, approached a maintenance access panel. "Perhaps we can manually restart the auxiliary system," she suggested. "We need to reach the substation beneath this level." Ellen nodded to the team. "We move together. Stay alert." They descended through a narrow access tunnel to the lower maintenance level. The space was designed for utility, not comfort, with cramped passages and exposed systems. When they reached the auxiliary power controls, Susan immediately began working to restore functionality. Zilara observed with interest how the humans communicated during crisis. Their language became more direct, efficient. Their movements showed urgency but not panic. Even facing potential danger and deteriorating conditions, they maintained remarkable functionality. As Susan worked on the power systems, Ellen continued investigating the sabotage pattern. Her expression grew increasingly, troubled behind her mask. "This isn't random," she concluded finally. "These systems were targeted to create maximum disruption while preventing standard emergency responses. Someone wants to cripple the colony." A soft tone from Ellen's communication device interrupted her analysis. The director's voice came through the speaker. "Chief Barnes, colony sensors have detected an unauthorized vessel departing lunar orbit. Signature unknown. Not matching any registered human or Vosari design." Ellen exchanged significant glances with her team. The saboteurs were escaping. Their goal accomplished. Susan finally managed to engage the auxiliary power systems. Lights returned gradually, environmental controls showing minimal function. "Emergency systems are online," she reported, "but primary systems remain compromised. We'll need a complete overhaul to restore full functionality." The lunar colony entered heightened security status as repairs to environmental systems continued. Technical teams worked tirelessly to restore full functionality, while investigation into the sabotage intensified. The mysterious device recovered by Ellen and Zilara became the focus of intense analysis. 3 days after the incident, Director Bennett called an emergency council meeting. The small conference room adjacent to the command center filled with key personnel. Ellen Barnes represented. Security Lily attended as cultural liaison. Several colony department heads gathered around the oval table. Zilara was surprised to receive an invitation. The director activated privacy protocols before beginning. "Evidence suggests we face a deliberate attempt to disrupt the human-Vosari alliance," she stated, her expression grave. "Our technical team has analyzed the recovered device." A holographic projection appeared above the table showing detailed schematics of the transmitter. Penny Reeves, chief of technical operations, indicated specific components. "The technology incorporates elements from multiple species," she explained. "Some components we recognize as similar to Vosari design. Others resemble human technology. But the integration method is foreign to both our engineering approaches," Ellen continued. The device was transmitting colony status to a receiver beyond lunar orbit. Analysis suggests it belongs to the Mravani. Several humans exchanged concerned glances. Zilara noted their increased stress markers at mention of this name. The Mravani. Zilara inquired, her tendrils pulsing with curiosity. "This species is known to humans." Lily nodded. "They control a small system near the boundary between human and Vosari space. Relations have been minimal, neither friendly nor hostile. Until now, they have shown little interest in either of our civilizations." Director Bennett resumed. "Initial contact with the Mravani predates our alliance with the Vosari. They declined diplomatic relations, claiming cultural incompatibility with humans specifically." Ellen added, "The sabotage pattern suggests extensive planning. The Mravani likely infiltrated our colony months ago, studying our systems, identifying vulnerabilities." "What do they want?" Lily asked Emir. Question reflected the confusion Zilara detected among all present. The director shook her head. "That remains unclear." Their vessel departed before we could intercept, but intelligence suggests they have established a hidden outpost in the asteroid belt between Earth and Mars. From there they can monitor both human and Vosari activities. Shilara processed this information. The situation had evolved far beyond her original research mission, yet she found herself deeply invested in the outcome. This crisis offered unprecedented insight into human response to extended threat. I have contacted the Vosari High Council Director Bennett continued. They are sending a diplomatic vessel to assist our investigation. The Alliance faces its first significant challenge. We must demonstrate unity. The director turned to Zilara. Your continued participation would be valuable, education specialist. Your unique perspective might help us understand Miravani motivations. Shilara considered the request. Her original mission focused on understanding human fear response. That mission had evolved through direct experience. She had observed fear during recreation, during education, during simulated emergency, and now during actual crisis. Each context revealed new dimensions of human emotional complexity. I will assist, she agreed. My observations may prove useful to both our peoples. The meeting continued with discussion of security measures and investigation strategies. Zilara noted the humans' methodical approach despite their evident concern. They acknowledged the fear created by unknown threat, yet channeled that emotion toward constructive planning. This behavior continued to fascinate her. After the meeting concluded, Lily accompanied Zilara through the corridor. Her expression reflected the concern shared by most colony personnel. This situation has changed your research focus, she observed, indeed. Zilara acknowledged her tendrils pulsing thoughtfully. I came to study human fear in controlled conditions. Now I observe it in genuine crisis. The data is more significant though less structured. They reached an observation lounge with views of both the lunar surface and Earth beyond. Several humans sat in small groups, their conversations hushed, reflective of the colony's uncertain status. A small figure sat alone near the viewport. Zoe Wilson, the child Zilara had met at the reception. Her posture suggested emotional distress. Lily noticed Zilara's attention. Would you like to speak with her, she asked. The crisis has been difficult for the children. They sense the adults' concern even when we try to shield them. Zilara moved toward the child. Zoe looked up, her expression brightening slightly at Zilara's approach. You are the alien who understands fear, she said directly. Zilara settled beside her. I study fear, she corrected. I do not claim complete understanding. Zoe looked toward Earth, visible through the viewport. Everyone is scared, she stated, but they pretend not to be. Why do adults hide fear? A profound question, Zilara observed. Her tendrils glowed softly as she considered her response. Adults attempt to manage fear, not eliminate it. Complete suppression is impossible, but regulation allows function. Despite emotional distress, child seemed to consider this. Is that what courage means? Not being unafraid, but being afraid and still doing things. Zilara felt an unexpected warmth at the child's insight. That appears to be the human definition. Yes, my research suggests courage exists because fear exists. They define each other. Zoe nodded slowly. I was afraid during the evacuation, she admitted. But I remembered our drills. I helped my friend Caitlin find her breathing mask. Even though I was scared, you demonstrated courage, then Zilara confirmed. Your fear did not prevent necessary action. The child smiled slightly, then looked back toward Earth. I still miss home, she said. But maybe the moon can be home too. Maybe fear of new things gets smaller when the new becomes familiar. Zilara recognized wisdom in the observation. Your species adapts remarkably well to change. This quality serves humans effectively during crisis. Their conversation was interrupted by a colony-wide announcement. Director Bennett's voice echoed through the communication system. Attention all personnel. The Vosari diplomatic vessel has arrived ahead of schedule. All department heads report to docking bay. 3 Zilara felt a strange mixture of emotions at this news. Connection with her people should provide comfort, yet her experiences among humans had changed her perspective. She had begun to see her research not merely as academic exercise but as potential bridge between different approaches to existence. Lily appeared at the lounge entrance. "We should go," she said. "The Vasari representatives will want to speak with you." They proceeded toward the docking bay, moving through corridors filled with humans discussing the arrival. Some appeared concerned, others hopeful. Silara detected varied emotional responses reflecting the complexity of human social dynamics. The docking bay opened to reveal a sleek Vasari vessel. Its smooth blue surface reflected the artificial lighting as the airlock cycled to allow disembarkation. 3 Vasari officials emerged, their tall forms and luminescent tendrils marking them as high-ranking representatives. Shilara recognized the central figure immediately, Senior Counselor Malar Ven, her education mentor, and one of the strongest advocates for alliance with humans. The counselor's presence indicated the seriousness with which the Vasari viewed the situation. Director Bennett stepped forward, extending formal greeting. The Vasari delegation responded with traditional gestures, diplomatic protocol observed. By both species, Counselor Malar approached Silara, her tendrils glowing with formal acknowledgement. "Education specialist, your reports have provided valuable insights. The High Council requests your continued observation during this crisis." Shilara performed the appropriate gesture of acceptance, noting that the counselor showed no surprise at her participation in colony affairs. This suggested her mentor had anticipated her involvement, perhaps even expected it. The diplomatic party moved to the conference center for formal briefing. Silara walked beside Counselor Malar, slightly separated from the main group. "Your research has evolved beyond initial parameters." The counselor observed. Indeed, Silara acknowledged. "Direct experience has proven more educational than theoretical study." Malar studied her with experienced eyes. "Your communications suggest personal transformation as well. Your neural patterns show adaptation to human emotional concepts." This was anticipated, perhaps even intended. This statement surprised Silara. Was my assignment designed for more than academic research? The counselor gestured affirmative. "The alliance between our peoples requires understanding beyond diplomatic agreement. True cooperation demands appreciation of fundamental differences, particularly regarding emotional processing. Your experiences may guide future exchange programs." They reached the conference center where Ellen presented detailed analysis of the sabotage. Silara observed the Vasari delegation, noting subtle changes in their tendrils as they processed the information. Her people maintained composed exteriors, but she detected signs of concern in their biochemical responses. "The Miravani actions threaten both our species," Counselor Malar stated when the briefing concluded. "Their motives remain unclear, but opposition to our alliance seems certain. We must respond with unified purpose." Ellen presented the investigation strategy. "We believe their asteroid base contains information about larger objectives. Identifying their purpose requires direct access." The small reconnaissance vessel departed lunar orbit under communication silence. Its design incorporated both human and Vasari technology, a hybrid ship developed through alliance cooperation. The crew reflected this same integration. 3 humans and 2 Vasari working in careful coordination. Ellen Barnes commanded the mission, her security experience and tactical knowledge making her the logical choice. Catherine Wu handled navigation, while Susan Porter managed technical systems. Counselor Malar represented Vasari authority with Shilara, serving as observer and environmental specialist. Their vessel followed a circuitous route toward the asteroid belt, moving between sensor shadows to avoid detection. The journey would require 26 hours, during which the crew prepared for multiple contingencies. Silara monitored environmental systems from her station. The ship maintained Earth-normal atmosphere in common areas with specialized environments in individual quarters. This accommodation allowed both species to function optimally. The engineering represented successful integration of different biological requirements, a physical manifestation of alliance principles. Ellen approached Zilara's station, her expression reflecting focused Determination. "Have you continued your research during our journey?" she asked. During quiet moments between preparations. Indeed, Zilara confirmed, her tendrils pulsing with subtle light. Human responses during extended mission conditions provide valuable data. Your crew exhibits stress indicators yet maintains functionality, even improves coordination under pressure. Ellen nodded. "We train extensively for high-stress situations, but training differs from reality. Each person manages fear differently." Zilara tilted her head. "This individual variation interests me. Your response emphasizes action planning, tactical assessment. Navigator Wu processes through mathematical calculation, creating multiple contingency routes. Officer Porter focuses on systems, optimization, preparing technical solutions to potential problems. Each channels fear productively, but through different pathways." Ellen seemed impressed by this observation. "You've developed a nuanced understanding of human behavior in a relatively short time." "My research has benefited from direct experience," Zilara acknowledged. "The mission itself represents optimal observational conditions." Their conversation ended as Catherine called from the navigation station. "Approaching asteroid field perimeter. Sensor interference increasing." The crew moved to alert status, each member focusing on assigned responsibilities. The view screen showed the asteroid field ahead. Thousands of rocky bodies ranging from small debris to massive formations, creating a natural barrier between inner and outer solar system. According to intelligence, the Miravani outpost occupied a medium-sized asteroid near the field's center. Ellen reviewed the tactical display. Their projected location appears stable. The asteroid rotates slowly, creating artificial gravity through centrifugal force. Likely a converted mining operation. Counselor Malar studied the sensor readings. "The mineral composition will mask our approach," she noted, "but also limit our own detection capabilities. We proceed with incomplete information." Ellen nodded, accepting the limitation. "The mission parameters acknowledge this risk. Our objective remains intelligence gathering, not confrontation." Catherine guided the vessel into the asteroid field, her calculations adjusting continuously to account for moving debris and gravitational fluctuations. Her focus appeared absolute fear, channeled into heightened performance, exactly as Zilara's research suggested. Susan monitored communication frequencies. "Our passive receivers are functioning," she reported. "We can intercept Miravani transmissions if they broadcast but remain undetectable ourselves." The vessel moved deeper into the asteroid field, Catherine navigating with remarkable precision. The crew maintained professional focus, though Zilara detected elevated stress hormones in all three humans, their fear response active but controlled. 8 hours into the asteroid field navigation, Catherine identified their target, a roughly cylindrical asteroid approximately 3 kilometers long, rotating on its axis. Small structures visible on the surface confirmed occupation. Ellen studied the sensor readings. Minimal external defenses, she observed. Either confidence in their secrecy or limited resources. Susan analyzed. Energy signatures. Detecting power generation consistent with small outposts, she reported. Approximately 40 life signs. Miravani physiology counselor Malar examined the data. This represents significant investment of resources. Their purpose must justify such commitment. The vessel established orbit around the asteroid, maintaining distance to avoid detection. Passive sensors gathered information while communication intercepts provided fragments of Miravani transmissions. Susan worked to translate the unfamiliar language. They appear to be reporting to a larger facility, Counselor Malar noted after reviewing initial data. This outpost serves as forward observation only. Their main operation exists elsewhere. Ellen frowned at this information. The sabotage was coordinated from here but planned elsewhere. Our intelligence remains incomplete, as they maintained observation. Susan suddenly straightened at her station. Incoming transmission, she reported. Not Miravani origin. The communication appeared. On the main view screen, a human face unfamiliar to Zilara. The woman wore no identifiable uniform, her expression severe, Greetings, reconnaissance vessel. The woman began. I am Olivia Trent, representing Earth First Coalition. Our intelligence identified. Your mission. Several of our operatives have infiltrated the Miravani outpost. We share information of mutual concern. Ellen exchanged glances with Counselor Millar before responding. Earth First Coalition is a non-governmental organization, she explained, to the Vosari. Its political stance opposes alien alliance. Shilara observed the humans' reaction with interest. The appearance of this new faction created additional complexity. Ellen showed signs of increased stress, but maintained composed exterior. The fear response active but regulated. Trent continued. The Miravani threat extends beyond lunar colony sabotage. They seek to destabilize human-Vosari relations through escalating incidents. Their outpost contains evidence of larger strategy. Our operative will transmit data to your vessel. Coordinates follow. Susan verified the incoming transmission. Clean signal, she confirmed. No detection tracers or malware attached. Data appears legitimate. Ellen made a tactical decision. Accept transmission, she ordered. But maintain isolation protocols. The data transfer completed quickly, revealing detailed plans of the Miravani operation. Their strategy became clear: methodical escalation of incidents designed to create mutual suspicion between humans and Vosari. The sabotage represented merely first implementation. Additional attacks planned for both Earth and Vosari colonies. Most concerning, the evidence suggested Miravani infiltration of both human and Vosari governance, using agents to influence policy decisions toward mutual distrust. This represents existential threat to alliance. Counselor Millar stated, her tendrils darkened with concern. Our governments must receive this information immediately. Ellen studied the tactical situation. We need to return to lunar colony, she agreed. But transmission from this position risks detection. Catherine indicated a navigation route. We can reach transmission range by following this path. She suggested asteroid density provides cover until we reach perimeter as they prepared to depart. Susan suddenly called from her station. Miravani vessels activating 2 ships departing asteroid surface. They detect us. Ellen moved immediately to tactical systems. Defense protocols active. She ordered evasion. Course Catherine implemented the maneuver, guiding their vessel away from the Miravani ships. The asteroid field complicated pursuit, but also restricted escape options. The reconnaissance vessel possessed minimal defensive capabilities, relying on stealth rather than combat systems. Susan monitored enemy movement. They are pursuing both vessels, matching our course. They have weapons locked. Solara felt that familiar sensation intensify. The tightness in her chest increased heart rate, heightened awareness. Her tendrils darkened with what humans might recognize as fear, yet her mind remained functional, analyzing options, considering contingencies. The vessel shuddered as energy weapons impacted their shields. Susan reported damaged shields at 60%, drive systems affected. Our speed advantage is compromised. Ellen made tactical assessment. We can't outrun them through the asteroid field. She concluded, we need alternative strategy. Solara studied the sensor display, noting a dense cluster of asteroids nearby. The mineral composition of those formations, she indicated, would create significant sensor interference. Counselor Millar understood immediately. We could mask our energy signature. Among those asteroids, even directed sensors would struggle to maintain lock. Catherine adjusted course, navigating toward the asteroid cluster. The maneuver required precision, flying through narrowing passages between massive rocks. The humans showed clear fear response, yet performed with enhanced capability. The crisis demonstrating exactly what Zolaris research suggested. Fear channeled toward functional response. They reached the asteroid cluster, their vessel moving into position behind a particularly dense formation. Susan implemented energy masking protocols, reducing their signature to minimum levels. The Miravani pursuers hesitated outside the cluster, their sensors searching for the hidden ship. Their confusion provides opportunity. Ellen observed, we need distraction to cover our escape.